After you've registered to ALEKS and have done your initial knowledge check, you should see a screen that comes up that looks something similar to this. The number in the center of the screen is your current topic count. So depending on how you did on your initial knowledge check, this number is going to be different for pretty much every student in this class. Some of you might have a somewhat low topic count, some of you might have a higher topic count. But regardless of that, on the left side of the screen, you'll see something that says Pi Progress 25%. If you remember from my other video, I said that this class was kind of split up into 4 sections where we complete 25% of the material throughout the semester. This is the first goal that we're trying to reach. It says to reach 25% of the material, we need to complete 97 topics. Right now, I've completed 3 topics based on my initial knowledge check. So it gave me credit for 3 topics. Now, some of you might have a percentage in the center of the circle. If you have a percentage, the percentage is not valuable. But to swap between the percentage and the topic count, you just click at the center of the screen. So ideally, you don't want to see this. You don't want to see the percentage. So click in the middle of this circle and it'll tell you your current topic count. Alternatively, on the left side where I pointed out earlier, it tells you how many topics you've completed. And this says that I have 3 out of 97 topics completed. It also gives you the due date here. So it wants you to complete 97 topics by September 14th. September 14th is the same day as your first test. So your first exam is going to go over all of these 97 topics. So that's pretty much the most valuable thing in this screen. On the top right corner, you'll see timeline and you'll see ALEKS Pi. You always want ALEKS Pi to be enabled because timeline, for the most part, it doesn't give you any useful information. It basically tells you it shows me whether or not you've been doing any topics. So it'll go up and up and up as you do more topics, and it'll go down if you lose progress for any reason. So again, click up here on ALEKS Pi to make sure that's enabled because this number in the center of the screen is the most useful thing on this whole page. On the right hand side, it basically splits up the topics into different categories, different mathematical categories. And on the students end, I don't think it's too useful. It tells you how many topics are remaining, but this refers to the amount of topics that are covered by that concept throughout the semester. So don't worry about this number or any of these numbers that say remaining. Instead, focus on this center value and this left-hand side of the screen where it says Pi Progress 25, 3 out of 97. So to actually start on the material, you go up here and you click on Start My Path or Continue My Path. So you click on that and it'll immediately put you into a topic, a new math topic that you probably haven't covered. So in this case, what I would recommend you do, so this is your assignment for the class or for this particular topic. Up here in the top left corner, I would recommend that you copy this down in a notebook or on a separate sheet of paper. And I would want you guys to keep track of where you are. So for this lesson, for this topic, I would write down addition of 3 or 4 one-digit numbers. I would write that on my sheet of paper, and you can write this explanation down if you want. But the way ALEKS works is this very first page is always an explanation on how to do the problems. At the bottom of the screen, for a lot of concepts, it has an option to see another explanation, so an alternative explanation in case this doesn't make sense. So you could click on that if you don't understand this, and it'll give you another explanation like this. To actually start on the topic, you click at the Start button at the bottom of the screen, and it'll jump you to the first problem. So in this case, it just wants me to add the numbers together. If you get the problem right, so if I type in my answer of 15 and I press check, up here you'll see that we get, first off, there's 5 problems that they want us to do. If I get this first one correct, it'll light up the first one green. So I click on next. If I get this second problem correct, so if I get 2 problems correct in a row, it'll actually give me credit for 2 of the questions instead of going question by question. So let's work this problem out. 8 plus 9, that's 18. 17 plus 4 is 21, plus 5 is 26. So if I get this problem correct, it'll give me credit for 2 questions. Again, so it kind of speeds you through the concept because it assumes that you know what you're doing since you're getting the answers correct. And if I get this last one correct, then it'll fill up all 5 of these questions that it would have asked me. So 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 4 is 21. So I press check, and it gives me credit for 2 more problems, and now I'm done with the topic. So it'll show the screen, it'll tell you how many topics you have left until you're able to take that first exam. This objective goal that you see at the bottom, the objective goals you can pretty much ignore. They don't tell you anything too valuable. And at the bottom of the screen, you have the option to either go to the home page or continue my path. Continue my path is just continuing on to the next topic so that you can keep completing more topics. If you click on home page, it's not a big issue. It'll just send you back to the page that we were on originally. So if you notice on the left side of the screen, it says that now I have completed 4 out of the 97 topics. The due date's obviously the same and everything else is pretty similar. So let me go ahead and start the next topic and point out a few other things. So again, this first page is just an explanation on, in this case, on how to subtract 2-digit numbers without regrouping. So let's go ahead and start this, and I want to point out a couple of the tools that ALEKS gives you. So first off, up here on the top right, it doesn't give me an option for a calculator. Now on a test, if the question wants you to use a calculator, this will actually be enabled. So you'll be able to click on the calculator and use it to solve your problem. Underneath the calculator, you have an option of viewing a video. So if I click on this, it'll actually give me a video that's related to this topic. It doesn't match up 100% of the time. It's not like exact problems of what they want you to do, but it's close enough that you'll get a general idea of how to solve the problem. So in this case, it'll tell me how to subtract whole numbers, which I'm not going to view right now because it's a pretty basic video. But you have that option up there. You can always Google it yourself too if you want. I would recommend just copying down this title name and Googling that. It also gives you an option to view an ebook. So we never bought a textbook for the class, but if you want, you can click on this. This wants you, so you can click on section 1.3, addition and subtraction of whole numbers, and it'll load up a digital copy of the textbook, which you might not be able to see on your screen because I'm only recording one of my tabs. But anyways, if you click on that, it'll pop up with an ebook, a virtual, or an electronic copy of your textbook. Underneath that, you have a dictionary in case you get into a word problem and you're not sure what the mathematical terms mean. You can always just click on it and it'll give you an idea of what those words mean. So in this case, I clicked on place value and it gave me an explanation of what place values are. And then lastly, message center. You can use this if you want. I'll still answer it, but basically it'll give you an option to message me directly. So if you have a particular problem that you come across that you really can't answer, you can just type in, I need help, and then type in what your question is. So I don't understand. And then you can click send and I'll get it. I won't reply immediately unless it's the morning, but I will get back to it hopefully by the end of that day. So let's say that for whatever reason, we keep getting the answers wrong. Right, try again. If I type in another wrong answer, it'll give me an alternative explanation. If you get frustrated, or if you reach a point where you keep getting the answers wrong and you want to move on to a different topic, you can click on this arrow up here. So let's say that I'm struggling with subtraction and I want to put it off for now. If you're spending more than 15 minutes, this is what I want you to do. You would click on this arrow and it'll give you a set of topics that you can choose from. So you're kind of skipping around the different topics that are covered for this part of the semester. So we can move on to adding instead of subtracting. So I click on this, and then I can click at the bottom of the screen, and now I'll be on a different topic. So the other topic won't count against me. You just won't earn credit for it yet. But eventually you are going to have to go back and finish that topic that we skipped. So now we're on adding. It gives me an explanation, and just like before, we can go ahead and start the problem. The answer to this is 83. And then we would just move on with the rest of the topic. So again, if you get stuck, just click on this arrow and choose a different topic. You can't skip too far, because if you tried skipping to one of the later problems, it'll actually have a lock on it. So if you try opening it up, it'll tell you that it's locked. Why is it locked? Because we haven't done this topic down here. So you can actually go ahead and click on that topic, and it'll jump you towards that new topic, and you would just keep going from there. Let's see, from here on the top left corner, there's a drop down menu that's pretty useful. This gives you similar options to this right side of the screen, but it also gives you the option to go back to the home page, which we can go ahead and click on. That's this page here. Learn is the same as clicking start my path or continue my path. So if I were to click that, it would jump me to a topic or a new topic. Right, so in this case, they put me back to one of them that I skipped. So it wants me to go ahead and try this again. After that, we have a review. Before an exam, if you want to review the material that you've already covered, you go to click on this, and the way it works is it randomizes the questions that covers topics that you've already done. So I already did this addition topic, so it'll go over problems that cover that and any other concepts that I've already done. And it'll never end. It'll just keep going and going until you decide to quit. So if you want to review before an exam, that's what you would do. Assignments is where you would find the exam. So if I click on it, on my screen, I don't see it yet because the semester hasn't officially started. But when you guys load this up, you should see Pi Progress 25%, and you should see the 25% Go test. And to start on the exam for the 25% test, you would click on that. You would click on 25% Go test, and it'll ask you for a password. The password will be found on your Blackboard course page, which I'll cover in a different video. But that's how you would access the test, is by clicking assignments. Worksheets you can mostly ignore. Right, you can make your own worksheets by clicking up here, and it'll tell you to choose what concepts you want the worksheets to cover. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that because I don't necessarily want you to use it. Calendar. If you click on calendar, I never use this, but you can view what's expected of you throughout the semester. But you guys already know it's self-paced, so this doesn't really have a deadline. The deadline is usually going to be on the day of the test, so it's really hard to follow. I wouldn't recommend using the calendar. Then gradebook. This is where you'll see your grade for the class, and again, to pass the class, your overall grade, the grade up here on the top right, by the end of the semester, it needs to be at least a 70. Then right here, it'll list all of the things that you've done. Because I haven't started the semester yet, it's pretty empty. It just tells me that I've been working towards my 25% Pi progress, or I've been working on 25% of the material. And so far, I only have 4%, which matches up with the 4 that I have right here. I believe that's about it. The rest of this isn't too valuable. You do have a textbook option here if you want to look through it, but again, that's completely up to you. And then you have a dictionary, just like we saw on this Learn page. So I believe that covers everything that this ALEKS program has to offer. If you get really stuck on something, I would recommend skipping the topic, but sending me an email notifying me that you're struggling with it first. That way I can upload a video of me working the problem out, or I can give you a recommended video that might do a better job at doing that. So if you have any questions regarding the ALEKS program, please make sure to show up to one of the class sessions this first week of class, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. So last thing before I end the video, this right here is the most important thing. Pi Progress 25, it tells me that I need 97 topics by September 14th in the morning, because that same day is when you'll take your 25% test. I guess the very last thing, I know I just said that was the last thing. Up here on the top right, this can be a little misleading. On the bottom left, this is more consistent, but for whatever reason up here, it doesn't always match up with this topic count. So this topic count on the left side of the screen, that's what matters. This can be a little off. It says that so far I've done 4 topics, I've learned it, and I have 382 topics remaining for the semester. This mastered option means that whenever you take a knowledge check, so for every 5 hours that you put into this ALEKS program, for every 5 hours and 20 topics that you've completed, you'll get basically a pop-up quiz. The pop-up quiz is not for a grade, but if you get problems correct, then this number under mastered will go up. That doesn't necessarily affect your topic count, which is why I don't want you to focus up here too much. But that's what mastered means. It means if you get a problem right on those pop-up quizzes, then this number will go up. Otherwise, this number might stay the same and this number might drop. But again, the most important thing on the screen is right here, and this is what will be considered when calculating your final grade.